Remy, the iconic Bronx queen and fearless rap legend, was rushed to the hospital after a sudden and mysterious medical collapse, sending fans into an emotional frenzy and leaving the industry shaken. However, it's not just the severity of Ray's condition that is making this story go viral. It's also the fact that he gave up everything he owned, including his phone, groceries, car keys, and fled the store. Eyewitnesses said they saw him crying frantically, pleading with anyone who could hear him to take him to the hospital right away. Recognize the gravity of the situation, as the video demonstrates. He'd arrived at the hospital minutes after Remy was taken to the intensive care unit, and Papoose wasted no time in demanding access to his wife's room. "She's my wife, and I'm not leaving her side," he allegedly told hospital staff, and he refused to leave from there. From that point on, Papoose reportedly sat by Ray's bedside, refusing to leave for anything. Family members were informed that he had hardly eaten, hadn't changed his clothes, and was on the verge of exhaustion. Hospital insiders claimed that he would beg the doctors for updates every few minutes, asking, "Is she okay?" Although his face was a mask of concern, it was obvious to everyone who saw him that his resolve was eroding. One hospital staffer said, "He hasn't left that room once. He sleeps in the chair, eats barely anything, and looks like he hasn't slept in days. You can see it in his face, he's holding on to hope but barely." Despite the public's growing sympathy, many began to wonder why he wasn't. Anyone from Ray's family talking to the media? Why was there no official statement from a spokesperson? And why was Papoose so insistent about staying in the room that it seemed like he was afraid to leave, as if something bad would happen if he left for even a moment? This sparked suspicion, and theories started to circulate. Some guessed that foul play was to blame for Ray's condition, asking online, "Did someone poison her?" Others suggested that Remy had a health condition she had been concealing from the public. As the hours passed, a close family friend revealed that Papoose had not changed out of the same black hoodie that Remy had given him for their anniversary, saying, visibly concerned, "I've never seen him like this. He's broken, utterly broken. It's like he's giving up on everything except being by her side." The friend also claimed that Papoose had isolated himself, refusing to speak to anyone unless it was related to Ray's condition, saying, "It's hard to watch," raising questions about whether this was the result of something much more serious than just a fainting spell. "He's slipping," the friend remarked, "and I've never seen him so distraught." The situation back home was getting even more tense, with family members fighting with one another. Rye's mother and sister fought with some of Papoose's relatives over who should be able to access updates and who should be allowed in the hospital room. Accusations were coming from all directions, and each family member wanted to have the last word on what should be done. It became clear that the pressure was increasing on everyone, not just Papoose. On the third day, a shocking incident occurred when a hospital staffer overheard a heated argument between Papoose and one of Ray's cousins. The altercation got so bad that security was called to break it up, and they were shouting about trust, loyalty, and secrets. The staffer said, "It's clear that something much deeper is going on here, something we don't fully understand, but fans already on edge couldn't help but wonder, was there a betrayal? Was someone in Ray's inner circle responsible for creating this crisis? Or was this just the culmination of years of unspoken conflict between family members?" Then the unthinkable occurred. Papoose, obviously exhausted and barely able to keep his eyes open, collapsed in the hospital hallway. His body had exhausted from the emotional and physical toll of the previous few days, and paramedics raced to his aid. However, even as they attempted to wheel him out for treatment, Papoose reportedly screamed, "I'm not leaving her. Don't take me away from my wife." His voice cracked as he clung to the thought that being away from. Fans and celebrities alike started to voice their concerns after the moment was captured on camera. Cardi B, a close friend of Ray's, tweeted a heartfelt message of support, saying, "Remy is a warrior." Papoose, another close friend of the couple, echoed the sentiment, encouraging fans to pray for Remy's recovery. However, behind the public tributes, the situation was becoming darker, with insiders revealing that despite all the support, Rye's condition was not getting better. In fact, doctors had privately informed the family that her chances of recovery were not looking good. Even though every minute felt like forever, Papoose refused to leave the hospital room, his eyes never leaving his wife. Then, as if the situation wasn't already mysterious, a mysterious post appeared on Papoose's Instagram, featuring a blurry photo of Remy's hospital bracelet with a flickering candle emoji and the words, "Keep praying, they aren't telling us everything." The message was like a warning shot. It raised questions. What were the doctors telling them? Was there something being hidden from the public? And why did Papoose seem to know something others didn't? The internet exploded with speculation, and fans began to dig for answers. But the drama didn't stop there. Out of nowhere, a new player entered the scene. Remy's estranged half-brother, who hadn't been seen or heard from in years, arrived at the hospital unannounced, demanding to see his sister. According to sources, the police immediately blocked him at the door. "You don't get to show up now," he reportedly told the man. "Where were you when she needed you?" The argument became so heated that security had to step in, which led to more questions. What had caused Remy and her brother to become estranged? Why had he left for so long and then returned at the height of the crisis? Was he trying to take advantage of the situation, or was he truly worried about his sister's welfare? Whatever the answer, the moment served to further deconstruct the already tense situation. The cameras captured one last heartbreaking image of Papoose sitting by Ray's bedside, his face strained with emotion, and he tightly gripped. The world would have to wait and hope that Remy Ma's struggle for survival wouldn't end as the days went by. Her hand was tightly gripped, his eyes were bloodshot, and his lips were barely moving as he whispered, "Please don't leave me." His voice was a quiet plea, a desperate whisper of love in the midst of chaos. The scene gradually faded, leaving only the unanswered questions of what was really happening. Was Rye's situation more than just a medical crisis? And what was Papoose hiding? Papoose stayed by her side, never leaving the hospital for more than a few minutes at a time. The pressure on him was immense, and it was starting to show that he had lost weight. His eyes were bloodshot from lack of sleep, and the constant anxiety of the situation had taken a toll on his mental state. He was emotionally drained, broken even, but he refused to let go. "I don't care what." Remy Ma's hospitalization situation continued to worsen with no obvious signs of improvement. Fans, family members, and even celebrities were on edge, desperately seeking answers, but none could prepare for the devastating twist that was about to unfold. "It happens," he reportedly said, his voice shaking as he spoke to a close friend over the phone. "She's my wife. I'll never leave her. I'll stand by her through this. I just need her to wake up." His words, though noble, were filled with desperation, and those who saw him knew that he was spiraling. But while Papoose stuck to his vows, Ray's situation only seemed to get more complicated. The medical staff started acting strangely. The official updates on her health decreased. Rumors started to circulate, and soon the most unlikely sources became public with shocking information. One such source was an anonymous nurse who, according to this informant, there were indications that Ray had been under a lot of stress for months, which had finally taken a toll on her health. The nurse claimed to have overheard a private conversation between two doctors in the hospital about her condition. They were discussing it with a well-known tabloid, and what I overheard alarmed me was that it wasn't just the fainting that put her in a coma, but a series of events that aren't being said publicly. Behind closed doors, these remarks sent shockwaves through social media, leading fans to speculate that Remy's health decline might be linked to something darker and more sinister than anyone could have predicted. Was it the constant pressure of being in the spotlight, the growing tension between her and her family, or the emotional strain of dealing with her personal struggles, like her complicated relationship with her half-brother and the long-standing drama with certain members of her circle? Theories were flying everywhere, but nothing could prepare the public for the next big revelation. After several days of silence, an official statement was finally released, originated from Papoose's social media, where he wrote in his own words, My heart is with Remy, and we're taking it one day at a time. The message started. I ask for your continued prayers as we navigate this difficult time. Please respect our privacy. While this statement gave fans hope, something felt off. It was vague, almost too vague, and left many questions unanswered. As the days went by, Papoose started to show signs of growing more agitated. He reacted badly to people who attempted to ask him too many questions, and hospital staff said he was growing more and more irritable. Protective of Ray's room, one nurse said she was denied entry when she attempted to check on Remy because Papoose was standing in the doorway blocking her way. He was adamant, the nurse explained, saying that no one, not even medical staff, was allowed in until he gave the go-ahead. It was as if he had taken on the role of gatekeeper, and no one was going to approach his wife unless he said so. It became evident that something was happening behind the scenes that was gradually but surely pushing Papoose to the brink. Was he concealing something? Was he afraid that the truth about Ray's health would be revealed? If so, what was the truth? These same questions led some people to speculate about Papoose's mental state. One fan asked on Twitter if he was holding on to her too tightly, if he was hiding something, or if there was a dark secret that he was afraid would be revealed. Meanwhile, the hospital was turning into a battlefield outside, and everything appeared to be calm except for the growing tension between Ray's side and Papoose's family. It reached a boiling point when Ray's estranged half-brother returned, this time demanding to see Remy at all costs. He had a legal team with him, arguing that he had a right to be there as a family member and that Papoose was not, denying him access, and what transpired next was nothing short of a spectacle. Security footage that was later leaked online showed a heated altercation between the police and Reen's half-brother. The half-brothers, accompanied by two lawyers, stormed into the hospital lobby only to be confronted by an angry Papoose. "You're not welcome here," Papoose yelled, his voice shaking with rage. "Where the hell were you when she needed you? You don't get to walk in here and pretend like you care." The argument quickly escalated, with family members on both sides yelling at each other. "You've been gone for years, Papoose." The half-brother refused to back down and retaliated, calling Papoose a fraud and accusing him of keeping Remy away from her real family. The harsh words cut deep into Papoose's already fragile state of mind, forcing security to step in and escort both men out of the building. But the damage had already been done. Dozens of hospital staff had witnessed the confrontation, and soon after, fans started to share the video online. The doctors were growing increasingly concerned as the internal struggle for Remy's survival raged on outside the hospital. According to sources close to the family, doctors had privately told Papoose that they had done everything they could and that there wasn't much more they could do. One insider claimed that the doctor had said, "At this point, it's up to her." This raised questions about what was really going on behind closed doors and distracting the couple from what really mattered for Ray's health. It became evident that Papoose's obsession with controlling the narrative governing Ray's care was beginning to interfere with her recovery, and hospital sources expressed concern about his involvement in her treatment. However, Papoose reportedly started making more extreme demands, questioning the medical staff about every decision, drug, and potential treatment, asking, "Is this all you can do?" Decisions for her trying to steer the entire process, but the staff had to remind him, "She needs to rest and recover. We're doing everything we can." Some people thought that this intense scrutiny was doing more harm than good, and just as things were beginning to calm down, a shocking revelation surfaced online. A private message purportedly from Papoose to a close friend showed that he was afraid of losing Remy. The message, which was later verified by several sources, revealed an underlying fear that had, "Every day is a struggle. I don't want to lose her. I can't do this alone." The message sent shockwaves through the public as fans started to wonder if Papoose was mentally prepared to handle the situation. Was he truly prepared to let go if that was necessary for Ren's recovery, or was his fear of losing her preventing him from making the right decisions? These were questions no one could answer, but they still weighed heavily on everyone involved as the days continued to drag on with no clear answer. The world would continue to watch and pray that Remy May would overcome the battle for her life and emerge stronger than ever as her condition continued to hang in the balance. The tension surrounding her recovery reached a fever pitch, and fans, family members, and even the media were in a constant state of speculation. The only thing that was certain was that this story was far from over. The truth about Remy's health, her family dynamics, and her future had been hidden beneath layers of secrecy and pain. However, one thing was certain: nothing would be the same after this. In the weeks that followed, things only became more complicated. Relatives close to Papoose claimed that he had become obsessed with every detail of Ray's care, pushing the doctors to try experimental treatments, some of which were deemed unnecessary. Friends and family were concerned that his inability to accept the severity of the situation was causing more harm than good. "Doesn't want to believe she's in this bad of a condition," a family friend revealed. "It's as if he's been in denial and he keeps asking the doctors for more, pushing for anything that could help. But I'm afraid it's too late for some of the things he's asking for." Meanwhile, Rye's family was dealing with their own problems. Her father and mother had shown up at the hospital demanding to be kept informed of every step in the process, claiming they had been excluded from important medical decisions. Papoose, still reeling from his emotional turmoil, was adamant about keeping them at a distance, and the once peaceful relationship between the two families had now descended into confusion. The family was on the verge of yet another devastating confrontation when, in a shocking turn of events, a new medical report was leaked to the public. According to an insider, the doctors had found something concerning during Remy's treatment that no one had anticipated, and that could ruin everything. The leak came via an anonymous tip to a well-known gossip website, sending shockwaves around the world. The report suggested that Remy's health issues were not just physical, as first believed, but also deeply psychological, and the emotional toll of her recent struggles, both personal and professional, had taken a far greater toll. Major toll than anyone could have predicted, and as if that wasn't enough, it was revealed that Remy had been dealing with hidden health problems for months before being admitted to the hospital, which nobody, not even Papoose, had known about. The bombshell news sent fans and followers into a frenzy. One fan asked on Twitter, how could she have kept this all secret from Papoose? The rumors quickly spread about what had actually been happening behind closed doors. Papoose was reportedly devastated by the revelation, feeling betrayed and heartbroken by the fact that Remy had been suffering in silence. According to a source close to the family, he had no idea that Remy was going through all of this. It broke him. However, this time Papoose struggled to accept the truth, and the situation outside the hospital continued to spiral out of control. Ray's half-brother, who had been at the center of the family feud, was now being hailed as the hero in the media, and his supporters claimed that he had always known something was wrong with Remy and that he was now fighting for her right to be cared for by family, not just Papoose's side. It was a media circus, with every little detail of Ray's life becoming a topic of debate, but no one anticipated the next level of deceit that would be revealed. The online leaks that had already sent the public into a frenzy were only the beginning. Days before Ray's collapse, the media discovered a shocking connection between Papoose and an enigmatic person who had been in contact with him. The person's identity was carefully concealed, but it was reported that the person had warned Papoose about an impending danger to Ray's health. There are people in your circle who don't have your best interest at heart. Be careful who you let in. Fans were once again left in shock, wondering who this mysterious figure was and what they knew that could potentially change everything about the situation. According to sources, fans were shaken by the cryptic message that this mysterious figure sent, which suggested that some of Remy's close friends and family members may have been contributing to her emotional and physical decline. He had already been under a lot of stress. But this new information made him start to wonder if anyone had been undermining Ray's health all along, or if the stress of the situation had made him miss important warning signs. This new information sparked suspicions and accusations, with some fans speculating that Remy's family, especially her half-brother, might have known more about her struggles than they disclosed. Was there something they weren't telling us? One fan wrote online, could they have been involved in her decline? Did they know all along? In the midst of all this chaos, something unexpected happened. Ray's social media accounts, which had been silent for weeks, suddenly came to life again because of a post on her official Instagram account. The caption read, "I'm fighting with everything I've got. Thank you for your love and support. I'll be back soon." Fans were thrilled to hear from her, but it was curious why she had waited so long to speak out and why she had chosen this moment amidst the. As the dust settled, Papoose made a final public statement. Remy is on the road to recovery. His voice was steady but full of emotion, thanking everyone who supported us during this time. "I'm asking for privacy as we focus on what matters most for healing, but I promise you all will get through this together." Despite the ongoing scandal and speculation, one thing was clear: Ray's health remained the top priority. This was due to the media circus growing daily and family drama reaching new heights. As the story of Remy Ma's health battle progresses, the tension only grows. Will she fully recover, or is there more to the story that hasn't been revealed? One thing is certain though, this isn't the end of the road for Remy and Papoose, their love, or their journey. With those words, the world seemed to finally take a collective breath. The questions remained, the answers were elusive, but one thing was certain. Troubles and the startling turns we have seen thus far are only the beginning. Keep an eye out since the truth is still. Will the public eventually get the whole truth, or will there be more mysteries hiding in the shadows? Remy's family secrets and the mystery around her health continue to enthrall us all. Please like and share. And subscribe to receive more exclusive updates and insights as this incredible tale develops. Don't remember to share your opinions in the comment section below. What do you believe actually happened to Remy? Who do you believe is? The saga is far from done. Keep watching for more about the enigma that no one is discussing.